right, have and have not fans, here we go with the preview for the episode of Good Man. For whatever reason, the own YouTube channel was down for about a day and a half. The channel is back up though. A lot of videos have been posted, but none of them have been have and have not related. I mean, typically we get 2 to 3 clips. Here are 3 different scenes from the episode, and then here's the first look at next Tuesday's episode. Nothing has been uploaded yet. I'm assuming they might put it up there Friday or over the weekend, but as of right now, I give thanks to A Series. He sent me the preview that comes on during the commercial, so I was able to look at it and take notes. So I'll play the 30-second, 20-second trailer right now. I'll come back, break it down. You know how we do on this channel.
Mitchell, are your people coming back now? They know he's gonna make it.
Tuesdays.
Lord, help me make it through this night.
The fear is very real, Hannah, and you're not the only one who needs to be afraid.
See you, Veronica. You have done it now.
Prepare yourselves, Habs fans.
Hello?
It's insane.
The topsy-turvy Tyler twists are just getting started.
I hate you.
Feeling is mutual.
I'm gonna get the bullets. I want you to stay in my bed.
Where's Wyatt?
Get out. I'm done with you.
All right, and that was the trailer for A Good Man. Now, keep in mind, whenever I do these breakdowns, I take in consideration the 20 to 30 second little sneak peek we get at the end of an episode, when the end credits pop up, as well as the trailer that you just saw. So it's going to be almost like a minute of footage I want to be covering. And up front, I do have to apologize. The quality of some of these photos are not as great as they usually are, because remember, usually the trailer is in perfect HD on YouTube, so I can pretty much get the screenshots that way. Since I was given the trailer in a perfect HD format on my Instagram, and then I saved it to my computer, and when I got the screenshots, some of the shots aren't as high resolution as they usually are, but for the most part, you can tell what's going on. Just wanted to say that up front. And I have to say, A Good Man, I don't want to jinx it, but the trailer was actually pretty good. I actually have a page of notes here instead of about half a page as in my usual situation. So I don't know how long the video is going to be, but if it's longer than like 10 minutes or even 8 minutes or even 10, that means this trailer had a lot of juicy material, and it did. Basically, the trailer opens up with, Benny back at home. In his room. It looks like Mitch and Hannah are there, and Hannah's asking the $1 million question. Luckily, it's not an $8 million question. Oh, okay, that's not funny. Basically, Hannah asked Mitch, is like, look, Mitchell, is your family still going to come after Benny because he survived? And then, he's like, and he's like, what? So basically, it's uncertain whether or not the Malones are still going to come after Benny because, it's uncertain that the Malones even came after Benny in the first place. Or, excuse me, they were coming after him, but it's uncertain if they were the ones who stabbed him. So we have that. And then later in the trailer, Benny even asked Mitch, is like, can you just give your uncle the money for him? And then Mitch is like, I'm not sure if that will work. Which leads to one of many interesting and questionable scenes in the trailer. It looks like Mitch reaches under the chimney and pulls out a stack of cash to put under his shirt, which we can only assume is the $45,000 because once again, the photo's kind of bad, but I could obviously see some of the red marking or the blood on the money, meaning that, that's the $45,000. This is not okay. I could not tell if that chimney was something that was in Benny's room, because this is a wealthy person's house, so there could be a chimney in the bedroom, but I don't think so, because we have seen the inside of Benny's room before when he was getting a phone call from Veronica, and when Melissa briefly came in just to thank him for, allowing her to stay the night. We didn't get a full-scale view of the room. You know what? I don't think the chimney's in the room. No. The chimney's in the living room area. That's right. So I'm guessing that Mitch goes downstairs, when he's about to leave for the night, sneaks around to get the money under the chimney and then leaves. That could mean one of 2 things. Number 1, Mitch is not telling us the full story because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty damn sure it was said before that the money had already been given to the Malones. That's what I remember. I remember after, Benny found the $45K in Candace's hotel room, he gave the money to Mitch, who gave the money to his family, because I remember when Mitch called Benny after he was kicked out of the house by Hannah, and then he was warned that the Malones were still after him, and then he's like, whoa, didn't, yeah, you gave your family the money, right? I gave you the money to get to them. And it's like, yeah, but they still want the interest. So either Mitch is doing something dirty we don't know about, or this is a inconsistency in the writing, because I swear that in the episode Exhausted, when Mitch gave Benny a phone call warning him to stay indoors, Benny said, but whoa, I gave your family the money, right? And then it's like, well, yeah, they won't accept it. So either it was bad writing and it's just going to be thrown out of the window, that thrown out of the window like Oscar, sorry, another bad joke, that, you know, the money had already been given back. Or did Mitch decide upon himself that, okay, I'm not giving this money back because my family isn't going to accept it, and then that would just mean Benny's life is on the line. So his best bet is to keep the $45,000 and make those 3 payments every 6 months of $18,000. That could be another thing he could have done. I can actually kind of see that happening, because remember, his family was going after Benny because of the whole slitting Benny's throat when he really didn't do it. So even if he had given the money back to his family, it wouldn't have mattered, because until the hit was called off for Benny, for the Vinny situation, he would have been killed or hurt anyway. So we'll just have to wait and see whether or not this was either bad writing, and then it was just like, oh, well, you know, he never gave the money back. Because didn't Benny even said, and I'm going to say what he said, I said it before, he asked Mitch if he can just give him the money for him to his uncle, and then Mitch is like, I'm not sure if that will work. So is Benny referring to the $45,000, which I do believe was already established to have been returned to the Malones, or is he referring to the interest money due to the fact that in the bank scene of last season, you know, when Candace told him to keep the money, Hannah told him to give it back, but then Benny got the phone call from Mitch after he stepped outside of the hall saying that, you know, his family was still after him, which once again, they said it was after the interest money. Because this is, remember, the whole bank situation, this happened after Benny got the $45,000 from Candace. So I'm dead certain at this point that Benny did give the money to Mitch in order to give back to the Malone. So I feel like that $45,000 should have been given to the Malones already, unless they didn't accept it for whatever reason. So then Mitch just went back to the house and put it under in the chimney, or did he? I don't know, folks. Okay, I don't want to go off on a tangent about inconsistent writing, but I'm going to wait until the episode airs, and best believe if it's somehow established that the money hadn't already been given back to the Malones for a good reason, that is horrible writing. When Benny asked about the money, I was under the assumption that, oh, I get it. You know, once again, that's why he didn't sign the money over to the Criers. He's going to keep the money in the bank account, get out the interest, give that to Mitch, and then boom, the Malones are off his ass, at least for the money, not the whole Vinny situation. But it seems to me that's not the case. So yeah, we are almost 8 minutes into this video, or 9 minutes. I didn't expect to go on a tangent on the very first scene, which in a way means that this episode is going to be pretty interesting. All right, then we go over to David's house. It looks like he and Jeffrey both arrive home. And, you know, even before getting to that, I will admit that there is a brief scene, which I'm guessing is going to be the opening scene of the episode, you know, where Madison's still laying on the ground at the parking garage at the hospital, and Jeffrey saying, hello, no answer. So we don't know if he eventually hangs up. We don't know if Justin answers the phone. And to be completely honest, if Justin were to say anything over the phone, I'm pretty sure Jeffrey would try to do something. But given the fact that Jeffrey and David are back at home right now, I am just going to assume that he eventually hangs up, or Justin hangs up the phone for Madison. And then, you know, David's like, I don't know, because if Madison was on the phone, well, then again, he did say he'd handle it, even though Jeffrey was concerned, saying stay on the phone until you get, or until I get there. I don't know if Jeffrey's going to further investigate this, or if Madison's going to be discovered and then put in the hospital. Like, we know Madison is not dead due to the fact that he was in Atlanta for filming for season 7, so he's not dead. I guess the question is, what is Justin going to do with him? Is he just going to leave him there in the parking lot next to the car? We'll just have to wait and see. And yes, I still need to do my video pretty much talking about all of the that don't make no sense moments of Battle for the Past, such as I'm going to assume that, maybe he used a crowbar to tear apart Madison's entire car, which I'm pretty sure he could do, puncture the tires with, the sharp ends of the crowbar. And then based off how the car looks, it obviously was hit multiple times with the crowbar from breaking the windows, putting huge dents in it, which just leads to so many questions like, did nobody hear this going on? Did nobody see this going on? What about the security camera? Sure, make the argument that Justin has been known for disabling security cameras, but due to the fact that parking garages typically have maybe 1 to 3 security guards, within a hospital setting, you would think there would be some kind of alarm or something going off on the car so somebody could hear and then, wonder what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. So I don't think Madison is dead, but I do feel like that will be the opening scene. And, from there, Jeffrey and David go back to his house, and then maybe David will just say, oh, well, he said he'd handle it. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, that's pretty much your and Jim's catchphrase. And again, I just said probably. And the most important part of this scene, well, 2 things. Jeffrey gives David the little black book. He reads through it. Veronica, you've done it now. Leading to one of the most interesting scenes of the trailer. And I've said it before, there are plenty of interesting scenes in the trailer where David and Veronica are on the phone with each other. And it's like, I hate you. The feeling's mutual. And it's like, Veronica, you've gone. Oh, wait, no, he said that before. And then David says, I'm going to kill you. And then the look on Veronica's face is priceless, because it's one of those things where even before the pimp slap, there have been plenty of times where, like Jeffrey, what she does with Jeffrey, Veronica just taunts David, daring him to put hands on her. And then when he does it, she is very surprised. And then she retaliated with the bombing. And then one person said this in a video on one of my comments in the comment section. I think it was the video I did. What is the best Veronica Harrington moment, or what is the best Veronica moment? And he said something along the lines of, the thing about Veronica is, if you can throw a coconut at Veronica, but then she'll throw the entire beach back at you and still have some shots left. I was completely floored. That was one of the best and most accurate depictions of Veronica. And David should learn by now, and I'm not, saying kill your crazy ex-wife, but I'm just saying that he should know at this point that if you do anything to Veronica, she's going to fire back 500 times worse. So unless you kill her, you're not going to be free. But even so, you have the whole puzzle piece thing she told Jim, meaning that your life is probably going to be a living hell either way, so why not? And then we have RK, and, basically Veronica's still trying to get rid of him, and RK's like, get the hell out of my house. That's not going to happen. And then he tries to make moves on her, but I'm guessing that RK either gets his sandwich and leaves, or Veronica does convince him to leave before she gets the phone call from David. Or you could say that, well, maybe RK and Alice/Allison are still in the kitchen getting the food, and then Veronica gets the phone call from David, while he's in the back. That is another possibility. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Sarah intercepts Jim as he's arriving home from the hotel. The biggest question is whether or not Catherine interrupts, because we do see Sarah meeting Jim right outside of the house. And then, yeah, because Sarah was waiting after Wyatt said he would call or something. So basically, Wyatt split the scene, and Sarah and Jim go back inside. Then Sarah, starts to undress. I do believe that Jim might have opened her shirt for like the 20th time to check to see if she had a wire. And then Sarah saying that I can't go to jail, and it's like, so what are you going to do? Then she starts, taking off her clothes and kissing him, and he's pretty much, like, oh, come on now. And I'm guessing that Catherine showing up and looks, just like, well. I'm wondering if she walks in on Sarah and Jim, which is kind of funny due to the fact that Jim had just walked in on her, Brodrick, and Rocky, pretty much giving her flack. And now it's like, well, I walked in on one of your whores. Which one are you? Number 14 or whatever. And then Sarah probably splits the scene, embarrassed, but at the same time uncertain of what to do. So then Jim is going to be speechless because, well, to be honest, for once, this was something he didn't plan to happen. And in any case, Leo or Max shows up. Jim asks, "Where's Wyatt?" And then he's like, "I'm not sure." Then he goes to look around the house and he's not there. We see Wyatt. It looks like he's in like this place with like a red light or something shining on him. So I have no idea what's up with him, but it looks like he's wanting his fix, which again makes no sense since he has no money. But one could assume, and I'm just going to make some sort of assumption here just to make any sense of what's going down. Maybe he took a credit card, or maybe he took some jewelry to pawn, or he took something from the house in order to get some money in order to buy some drugs. That's my only guess with that. But one of the more surprising scenes I didn't notice the first couple times I watched the trailer was, it looks like we're finally getting a scene between Brodrick and Candace. It looks like Candace is sitting at the bar. Rocky's on the other side, of course, doing his job. Brodrick shows up, probably recapping the events of the Criers and maybe even hinting at the fact that Catherine wants to bring you down. So I could see that being, interesting story point. And something of note, which I'm not going to talk about at this very moment because I got to look over my notes to make sure I covered everything else, is Candace is wearing different clothing from where she was at the hospital. And that leads to the last scene of the trailer, which everybody and their mother is talking about. Let me look at the notes real quick, make sure I covered everything. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting trailer breakdown. I did not expect it to be this in depth. So, Hannah invites Derek to stay. So we can just assume the order of events is Hannah and Mitch talk with Benny. Mitch somehow sneaks the $45,000 from under the chimney, then splits the scene. Then Derek is there just to make sure everything's okay. Probably is about to leave for the night because, obviously dinner got canceled because of the whole Benny situation. And that's when Hannah invites him to stay. Hopefully, Benny's up in his room and stays there. That way we don't have any ignorant scenes. And yes, you know what? Don't ruin this episode, Benny, by going off on Derek, because this is definitely not the time for your sorry ass to do this. And one last thing before I move on, because hang on, let me double check the notes. Yeah, this is the last thing before I get to the most important part. Remember back in, I want to say season 2, during the whole situation of Quincy being out of jail and he broke into Hannah's house and roughed her up a little bit, but because he was looking for Candace. And then towards the end of the season, Benny was like, Candace, you need to stay here because Quincy's out there looking for you. But then Hannah was like, no, Benny, if you let her stay here, Quincy's probably going to come back and kill all of us. Now we get to the whole hypocritical Hannah scene, and this is for fans who actually remember this stuff. Didn't want Candace around because it would mean everybody else would be in danger because of her actions, which is something that is actually pretty accurate. I can actually agree with her on that. Now we have Benny, who has the mob after him, yet Hannah invites him back into the house, meaning that Benny herself, possibly even Derek, for staying the night, could be killed by the mob because of Benny's actions. Very true. So, yeah. Wonder how that's going to play out. So, to all the people who either are still Candace fans, because, once again, after the whole Malik situation, a lot of people said they're done with Candace. To be fair, because I made plenty of bashing Candace videos on the channel because I stand by what I say. I just know a lot of people say you're quick to always condemn Candace and yada yada yada, but if you listen to what I just said, I'm saying that Hannah is not being consistent in how she treats her children. She didn't want Candace to stay at her house because of the fact that Quincy was on the lookout and would probably break in again and kill them all, which is pretty interesting because if you compare that to the whole Warlock situation, what she says actually came to pass in some capacity. But in this situation, you have Benny with the mob after him. And even though Mitch did say, for $45K, and even Benny said, Mitch is like, won't kill your family, we'll just kill you. It's a situation where he's probably going to be in a bad shape. But keep in mind, putting the Vinny thing aside, for being slicing the throat, even though he didn't do it. I do believe that I cannot remember his name. It was the Malone with the silver hair. He told Mitch, is like, okay, fine. If we give him if he gives back the $45,000, we'll just break his legs because he doesn't have the interest. So technically speaking, you know, well, yeah, they haven't called off the Benny hit yet, so Benny's life is still in danger. So yeah, that's just the one thing I noticed about that. Hannah willing to let Benny come back in the house instead of Candace, and I'm really comparing season 2 to season 5. And on top of that, we don't even know if Benny is going to give the criers back the money. That's one thing I hope is really brought up in the next episode. Like, yes, I can definitely understand that Hannah's more concerned about Benny's life because, you know, she's curious if the Malones are still going to come after him. But I'm wondering if the subject will come up of, you know what, we need to give the criers back the money. We let you back in this house. I let you back in the house. So I really want to get some thoughts in the comment section below on what do you think of that development. All right. And now we get to the most talked about scene from the actual trailer. Yes, we've had the David threatening to kill Veronica. We had the Mitch stuffing the money under his shirt. But at the end of the day and the trailer, Charles says, "Get out. I'm done with you." The question is, who the hell is he talking to? Now, I think it's pretty clear that we can chalk it up to either it being Candace or Landon. We do not know. Here's what we do know. This scene obviously takes place in the car. I'm assuming the limo, which is going to be, okay, we finish our business at the hospital because, you know, at the end of the last episode or towards the end, you had Candace, Derek, Hannah, Benny, Mitch all leaving the hospital. Charles obviously had finished his business seeing the children and then goes down to the car. This is where we get to the point of effective misdirection. The only limo I've been in twice is oh my gosh, I feel dumb. Funeral home, you know, for like what, my uncle, then my grandma. It was is it a hearse? No, actually the hearse carries the body. I was in a limo, yeah. And it wasn't one of those limos where you have a seat that has, you know, 2 people can sit on it and then right across from it, because, you know, in a standard van or whatever, you have like 3 rows of seats. But in this limo, you can have 2 seats facing each other where it's like 2 people on each side and then you can look at each other directly in the eye. The way I looked at this scene was Charles looking over to the person beside him saying that, "Get out, I'm done with you." And the question is, who is he talking to? And then he looks directly straight forward. Candace is in a position angle wise where it really does seem like Charles is looking over at her. So one could assume that, hey, Charles is looking over at Candace, says, "Get out, I'm done with you." And then that's the end of that. I do not know for sure if it is Candace, but there are plenty of clues to suggest that it is her based off what she's wearing at the bar. And it goes back to what I said before about, hey, if you go back and watch the trailer, well, actually, no, it was the scene I was talking about. Hey, Brodrick and Candace are going to have a scene together for the very first time. In that actual scene, well, we obviously see that Candace is wearing completely different clothing, which is the same outfit she's going to be wearing when she's at the Iron Bone bar talking with Mitch about, when Mitch brings up the fact that, do you really want to know what happened to Benny? And I'm actually going through my photos right now because there is one important photo that I didn't screenshot, but I might actually put on the screen if I can find it. It was the photo at the Artesian Hotel. We have Secret Service, we have Candace, and we have Charles walking. And I'm trying to find it on my iPod. Please bear with me here, because if I can find it, cause I do believe Landon is walking behind them as well. If I can find this darn photo. And while I'm trying to stall for time here, one thing I've noticed about this episode trailer, and maybe it's a new style for how I do stuff on the channel, is I'm not really doing like 15 videos each week. I feel like the more in-depth I am when I do my episode reviews and trailer breakdown, the less videos I have to do, because to be completely honest, this trailer by itself had a bunch of ideas I could have done, like, hey, we'll do a video about who is Charles saying he's done with. Let's talk about the theory about what Sarah's going to be doing over at Jim's house. And what about David talking about, I'm going to kill Veronica? I've pretty much done thorough explanations of everything, so I don't really feel the need of doing a bunch of videos. And yep, I did pull up the trailer again on my iPod, and Landon is walking. It looks like Secret Service agents. Then we have Candace, and then right behind her is Charles. Then right behind him is Landon. Oh man, this is definitely hard for me to figure out, because when you think about, let's talk about the time frame from being in the hospital to going down to the limo. We got to think about who pissed off Charles, who pissed him off in the hospital. I feel like Landon made him annoyed, because he pretty much said, sir, now would be a good time to go see the children we scheduled, for you to see. And then he's like, Landon, I want to stay here, for a little bit longer, but sir, it's like, Landon, what did I just say? And then he pretty much, just sat down like a dog with his tail between his legs. And then Candace was the one that got on his case because of the whole scenario of, don't tell me what to say to my mother. Don't tell me how to talk to my mother. So then he eventually got up to go see the kids. So basically, I feel like Charles might be pissed in a Veronica fashion, where who the hell do you think you're talking to? I could definitely understand why people would say that, oh man, what if he was talking to Candace? Because in the limo, maybe, and it could go both ways. Maybe Charles is sitting right beside Landon. He looks over to him and says, get out, I'm done with you. Okay. Or maybe it's a situation where, he's talking to Candace and she gets into another vehicle, because I'm assuming with Secret Service, there's more than one car. There'll be like a couple of motorcycles or something. So maybe Landon or Candace or whoever the person Charles is talking to is the one that's asked to get into another ride. It's like, get out, I'm done with you. And then that explains in the hotel, well, it's kind of like a somber feeling where it's Candace, then Charles, then Landon. Now, I'm not an expert on these things, but in most situations, isn't it the first lady and the president walking side by side? So that could explain why Candace is up front and not standing beside Charles. Guys, I'm not really that expert when it comes to politics and stuff, but we do know that leads to another interesting scene where I'm assuming this is Landon and Candace in her room, and they're pretty much talking, and Candace puts two and two together that Landon is in love with Charles and is like, wait, am I just like the fake lady or something? Wait, is he gay? And is like, wait, is he? Landon's like, wait, is he? So then that leads to, speculation. So I'm going to assume that Charles says, get out, I'm done with you. That occurs towards the beginning of the episode, because one could make the argument, well, think of it this way, Jeremy. What if it's a situation where, everything from the hospital back to the hotel is standard? Candace is looking a little sad in this picture where they're walking down the hallway because, well, her brother was just stabbed. And not to mention, she just had another tense moment with her mother. And then, she eventually changes clothes, decides to kind of, okay, let me just get a drink and just kind of think about everything that's happened. Goes down to the bar. That's where she meets with Brodrick and Rocky, who recap everything that's been going down with Catherine and, Jim threatening them. So maybe Charles and Landon go out for another, because remember, this is leading up to, him going to the Oval Office to meeting the president and first lady, as well as getting ready to move forward with the inauguration. So perhaps Landon and Charles have another political thing to go to. And then that's when Landon hints at, or tries to figure out whether or not Charles is gay. And that's like, get out. I'm done with you. Get out. But I did find a hole in that theory, because Candace is still wearing that pink dress, so maybe that scene does occur towards the end of the episode before they get back to the hotel, explaining why all three of them are in the same vehicle. Because Landon wasn't shown in the trailer in that scene, so one could assume that he is talking with Landon as a way of effective misdirection, because like, oh my god, if he's done with Candace, what's going on? Yeah, so I'm thinking Landon probably says something that leads to it, but get out, I'm done with you, get out. Because Landon could be talking and Charles doesn't want him to say anything because Landon could be saying something that's off the. I don't know. Landon has a way of putting his foot in his mouth, which is kind of ironic, going back to the whole, you know, Mr. Ferguson, may I take off your shoes? I'm figuring that, you know, he puts his foot in his mouth and then Charles cuts him off. Get out. I'm done with you. And then Candace looks over like, oh my God. So yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think Charles was talking with Landon. I think Charles is talking to Landon. So that leads up to, you know, Candace changing clothes. And then, you know, that we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But folks, this was a lengthy trailer breakdown. Like I said, when I first started, I did not expect it to be this long. I figured it to be maybe 15 minutes max. But like I said several minutes ago, I actually like this format. And like I said in, I think, last week's video, give me some feedback. Do you like this method? I'm really trying to change this up. I'm really, instead of focusing primarily, well, technically I am, instead of focusing just on 100,000 subscribers, I've been looking at different articles and, you know, YouTube videos in regards to really making the channel greater instead of just bigger. So I'm really looking for more things like, you know, more thumbs up on my videos, more comments, more subscribes, of course, more shares. And I want to make these trailer breakdowns as thorough as possible, and I feel like I've done that. You know, like in some parts it might have been a bit wordy, but at the same time I felt that in order to really dissect each scene, we had to talk about things we saw not just in the last episode to theorize on what's going to happen next Tuesday, but really drawing back from previous seasons. So yes, video is on the lengthy side, but maybe it's better to have one huge video than to have 40 notifications each week, like, yo, Jeremy just uploaded like 30 different theory videos, and then you feel pressured. It's like, how am I going to watch all these before next Tuesday? So definitely in the comments, aside from giving your thoughts on this trailer as well as the various scenes I talked about, let me know how you like this format. I can't guarantee every trailer breakdown is going to be even half this long, but I just felt like for whatever reason, A Good Man gave us a good trailer. And the title, A Good Man, who is that in reference to? Is it really referencing Jeffrey, you know, between the crazy Justin and the possibly good man Madison? But if I were to make one guess, I would say A Good Man is in reference to Derek, given the fact that Hannah, you know, is opening up to him enough to say, hey, I want you to stay with me in this home in my bed. So I would say A Good Man is referencing Derek, kind of like Battle for the Past was referencing Charles, who used that story about the mother and the daughter over the father's ashes in reference to Hannah and Candace. So yeah, I think A Good Man is in reference to Derek. But with that being said, folks, I enjoy doing this video. So as always, show your love, thumbs up, comment your thoughts. Once again, I really do want the feedback. Like, let me know how you like this format. And with that being said, I do have a couple more in-depth videos. Shout out to Chandler, because we really talked about these in depth in our recent live streams. And just to give you a heads up, one of the videos is, you know, David and Charles possibly working together in order to get back at Candace, and maybe Oscar played a role in that. And then the other video is, remember way back in episode 2, and I mean episode 2 of season 1, and in conjunction to after Charles and David talk for the first time, and then Erica talked with David, David ran for senator and then lost to Charles, but one of the platforms of his campaign was against like gay marriage and gay rights or something. It was one of the two or both. And then that begged the question, okay, if David did have a platform like that, then why did he all of a sudden show support and love his homosexual son after he came out? So those are going to be two big David-centered videos, which is ironic because it looks like he's going to have a interesting role in the next episode. But with that being said, if there are any other theory videos that I missed, I'll definitely double check my notes. But those are the two big ones I know for sure I'll be doing, as well as a third video talking about why Battle for the Past was not a good episode, or at least as good as I thought it would be. But as always, folks, I want to thank you so much for supporting the channel. We're almost at 61,000 subscribers, and be safe out there. Like, for whatever reason, my area was hit with a surprise snow shower, which I don't believe roads should be bad. It is like 4:30 right now, and it snowed for a few hours. Kind of messed up my plans. I was actually going to the movies last night to see the Dragon Ball Super film with some friends. And yes, you know, I actually do get out and do stuff, but the snow kind of ruined the plan. So maybe I'll see you this weekend. But yeah, guys, I do. Oh, actually, you know what? I do have a couple more videos on top of that about hints that the show is ending, hints that the show is not ending, or I might combine it in one video. Angela Robinson, aka Veronica, has been doing a ton of radio tours and interviews on TV. Follow her on Instagram. And she did respond to one of the questions about, there are a lot of gossip blogs out there talking about the cancellation of the show. Let me play that clip real quick.
Reading that's the finale. That's it. It's done.
Really?
I don't know. That's what the gossip blogs were saying.
What?
No,
I got a child to feed. What? No. You know what? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say everybody continue to tune in, continue to support, and you know, you never know about these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Long term, where do you?
Ooh, so I haven't watched the entire interview. I do see it was from a YouTube interview. I mean, actually, excuse me, it was on YouTube. The interview is on there, so you should see the title in the actual clip. I'm definitely going to watch it before I do my video about hints as to whether the show is ending or not. But I did a video a while back with Gavin, aka Jeffrey, and he was asked the question about, whoa, we're talking season 8 and whatnot. It's like, well, they're still in talks about it. The network hasn't decided yet. So I don't know. And then the whole Benny video where he did, you know, this is the last season. I don't know. And then I'd love Angela's reaction to that, because remember, she did just adopt a baby sometime last year. So she did make the joke of, you know, I got a baby to feed. So yeah, we don't know. It's one of those things where Tyler and the network, they'll put something together, and you know, I don't know if things will be changing with him going to Viacom. So I don't want to. This video is way too long already. I'm sorry. So I don't want to go into full, you know, details here, but that video is coming out. But I want to do, like this video, I want to make it as thorough as possible, because to be completely honest, I feel like there are a lot of signs pointing to the series ending after season 7, but there are some other signs hinting that it will continue. However, at this very moment, January the 18th, 4:45 a.m., at this very moment, I do feel like there are more signs pointing to the show ending than continuing. But like I said, let me take some time, get together all my evidence, various interview clips and whatnot. But I will try to put this video together sometime this weekend to present to you all. And guys, whenever I do these videos, don't think that I'm cheering for the show to end, because yes, this is my living, how I make things. One thing I didn't like about, and no, I know I'm not the only one that does these kind of things, but you know, when that woman said gossip blogs, I'm like, I hope that doesn't include my channel, because I don't want to be thought of as a gossip vlog, vlogger, you know, people who do videos, not blogs all the time. Because really, whenever I do videos speculating or theories, I do try to back it up with actual evidence instead of just coming up here and saying something off the cuff. So yeah, but in any case, yeah, let me know in the comments, what video do you want first? Well, then again, it really depends on my busy schedule and how I do things, because praise them. Thank God, my eBay, I sold like 45 items yesterday, and I've been spending most of it. That's why I didn't record anything until now, because I had like a bunch of things to actually get ready for shipping. So in a way, that snow was a blessing in disguise, because it allowed me to stay here, get everything ready to ship off. So I'm talking like a bunch of Pokemon cards, action figures, a couple of collectible statues. So yeah, that's great. And my eBay store, there is a link in the description below. Be sure to check it out. And Instagram, yeah, we are less than 300 away from 3,000 followers. So yeah, be sure to follow me on Instagram. And with that being said, I have definitely ran this video way longer than anticipated, but be on the lookout for my interesting theory debunking videos soon. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you haven't subscribed, you are missing out, because this is the channel if you are a Tyler Perry have and have not, if Loving You Is Wrong fan, because this is where the discussions and live streams go down. Matter of fact, if time permits today, I will try to do a live stream. If not today, this weekend, just because I really want to talk about what your thoughts are on the possibility of the show ending. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Jeffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.